y'all doing this morning? I hope y'all are having a really good morning. It's been cold here in Georgia, which has been really nice. I enjoy the coolness and the crisp. The older that I get, the more that I enjoy the colder weather. I don't know why, but to me it's better than humidity and heat. Lord, I just thank you so much for this day. I thank you for the ability to wake up and see another day. I thank you for your grace, for your mercy, for your blessing, for your love that you bestow on us, Father. I thank you for your hand of protection. I thank you for your goodness. Father, I thank you that you are everything that I'm not and that you want a relationship with me anyway. I just thank you that you don't change. I thank you that you do not change, that you remain the same, that your word has remained the same, that you have remained the same. And in a world that is constantly changing, you remain the same. The verse of the day is Jesus Christ is the same today. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that's so beautiful. Like, I really don't think that's a coincidence as to what we are experiencing, with election being yesterday, and we're trying to see who's going to be the next president, and you have people who have their own views and opinions about that, and but the fact that as a Christian, as someone who believes in Jesus Christ and believes in God of all creation, like the fact that he never changes, man, that is such good news. That is such good news, because we live in a world that is constantly changing, and change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. It's going to happen. Change is inevitable. But you also have change. You have good change and you have bad change. You have change that is indecisive, where people can't make up their minds, people are easily swayed. Like, they say this thing and they have a heart to believe this, and then somebody comes along and mocks it or says something about it, and then they're like, oh no, I didn't mean that, I believe this. Or you have some people who, they'll say something that they may believe in, and then they're ridiculed for it or mocked for it or threatened to be canceled, and then they take back what they say, or they have to offer an apology for saying something. Like, it's just, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? That there's so much wavering going on, that people just can't stand for something and mean it. You know what I'm saying? And then there's really good change. There's change that comes with getting older, with getting wiser, with growth, and with seasons, and with growth within and physically, outwardly. Our bodies change, our mentalities change, our character changes if we allow it to, for good or bad. Like, seasons change, which is beautiful. Like, change is inevitable. It's going to happen. But to have a God that never changes, that remains the same, that remains constant, that we can rely on the sun rising every day, we can rely on the sun setting every day, we can depend on seeing the sun. Like, we don't even think about it. We don't even think about the fact that God is holding all of this together. That when we wake up in the morning, there's the sun. When the sun sets, there's the moon. Like the fact that that remains the same, it shows God's faithfulness. It shows God's just his constant being, and the fact that we can rely on again the sun that gives life to all living things. Like the sun provides so much resource and energy and life to things here on earth that are living, the trees, animals, us. Like everything that God created is living, and it's just a constant circle of life. Like everything, it remains, it's constant. And I'm thankful that, and then those are just attributes that we can see. But when you really develop a relationship with God, you then have the pleasure of experiencing his faithfulness in your life, and how he's constant, and how he's always there, and how when in his word he says, I will never leave you or forsake you, and you begin to live that and see that he has never left me. Like I've been walking with him all my life, but consistently for 10 years, for it to be real for 10 years, and to see how he kept me even when I wasn't walking with him, to see how faithful he's been when I truly did give my life to him, and how he has never left me. Like he's never left me. He's been there in the midst of the storm with me. People will leave you. People will leave you, and sometimes it's time for them to go. Like people come into our lives for seasons too. Like sometimes they're not meant to stay there always, but then you have people who, when your life gets difficult, they can't handle it and they leave. They dip, So the fact that God remains the same, that when you make a plan to go to the beach is there when you get there. It didn't up and move. You know what I'm saying? When you make plans to go to vacation and go like to the mountains are there. You know what I'm saying? Like they haven't moved. Like he remains constant. We can depend on him. We can put our hope in him. We can put everything that we are on his foundation, because it's solid. It's solid. Solid as a rock. Yeah. I don't know that whole song. But it's solid. Like he's a firm, solid foundation that we can stand on. He's not going to waver. He's not going to move. His foundation is not going to shift when things get hard, or when things get shaky. Like, and it's just, I'm thankful for that, and that's a good word for this election. Like you have so many people who put their hope in government, who put their hope in the presidency, who put their hope in governing officials. They are human. They are human. They are not perfect. They are going to make mistakes. They are going to lead us wrong. Like they're human. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand what we expect them to do. Since the beginning of time, there has been, since sin fell in the garden, since Adam and Eve sinned, like sin has been in this world. Like what do they think they are going to do? Especially if they're not including God in it. So I'm so thankful that, in this crazy world that we live in, where things are constantly changing. Like we can't even have an iPhone for a year without a new one coming out, and us thinking that we got to get the newest and the greatest and the latest thing. I want this, I want that. Like we're constantly changing. Our minds are constantly changing. People, like, it's just always changing, good and bad. But God never changes. That is such a beautiful thing. That I can go through a day. And my day may be like this. just up and down, up and down, up and down. It starts off good, goes bad. Then I have a good moment, then it goes bad. Like, but God is like this, just steady. And that's beautiful when I'm having a bad day and I can come to him and he's steady. He's steady. So that's another reason to follow God. That's another reason. That's yet another reason why it's important to walk with him, because he never changes. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Like, he never changes. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing that we can put our hope in, that we can rely on. So I just pray that you have a blessed day. I'm fixing to go spend time with my Heavenly Father, man. I'm fixing to go just sit in his presence and walk with him and just enjoy the beauty of who he is. So I pray that y'all have a beautiful day, a blessed day, and that you keep God out front, that you keep him first in your life, because it makes all the difference. It truly does. It makes all the difference. And I can say that again because I have lived both ways. So blessings to you and yours. And I know I look rough, y'all. I just woke up not too long ago. Have a good one.